de-energize, energize, de-energize, energize, de-energize, energize. So de-energize. The whole time our blue light stayed on, and basically I can switch my two circuits independently of each other and kind of try to also freak you guys out at the same time, and I can have all my lights on as well. So this is just how we would have, just wanted to indicate here, having two loads connected from two locations, two loads from three locations. When we have three locations, we would add a four-way switch, and again, we had our blue light staying on all the time. You should be able to take some time now to mimic this circuitry on a schematic drawing in your book, indicating, let me just turn this off, that again, the line 2 power supply here is your vertical line on your left-hand side. Your identified is your vertical line on the right, and we went out to 3 different branches. One branch was for this. Initially, we just ran live and identified to blue light without any control, so it stayed on constantly. We fed live and identified to the 3 locations of switching 2 lights, and did the same thing for the 2 green lights being switched from 2 locations. So go ahead and write down your schematic drawing for that circuitry. And that should, actually before we finish up, just a couple of notes I wanted to make, just to summarize here. Again, in your switching circuits module, it talked about a switching pole. A switching pole, being able, when we go to identify switches, a switch pole is the number of separate circuits that a switch can control. So that's what a switch pole is. Your throws is how many switching positions a switch can be in. Okay. There are 2 factors that determine the type of connection a switch makes, and they are your poles and throws. And initially, when we talked about the different types of switches, we have momentary and we have maintained. So your maintained switch, basically when you put it into a position, when you take away the force, it maintains that position. Okay. On a momentary, it is in a position, then a force acts on it and changes it, and then when you release your force, then it goes back to its original position. So momentary is when it is applied to switches or contacts. A device changes state only when an outside force acts on it. So, for example, push and pull, or flick up, flick down, and then your maintained will be it changes state when the outside force acts on it and remains in that position when the force is removed. Okay. That's the end of our switching circuits lab. Have a good day.